When investing, it makes sense to diversify your investments because that reduces overall risk. And there's no real advantage to concentrating investments simply because the more you invest in one thing doesn't necessarily make you any better at that one thing, nor does it make it more likely that that one thing succeeds. However, when you're deciding how to allocate your time rather than your money, it makes a lot more sense to concentrate than to diversify. This is because the more time you spend on one thing, the better you get at it, and the more likely you are to succeed in that area. So, in this sense, it's kind of unintuitive if you try to compare the two. And so you have to take two completely different approaches to the two areas. And yet, it's really easy to fall for the diversification trap when it comes to life because we see a lot of people doing a lot of different things and we think that's the way to go. And it can be hard to choose because, saying yes to just one thing can feel like saying no to 10 other interesting things. But the reality is, if you stick with one thing long enough, you will find a lot more interesting niches within that thing that will keep you occupied. So the scarcity around missing out isn't really warranted because if you pick 10 things, you're going to be missing out on a lot of the depth in any one of those things, right? The internal niches within it. Also, I've noticed with investing, it's easy to fall for the concentration trap because the idea is, oh, if one thing hits really big, then you do really well. The problem with that mindset is anything can do really well, right? Because each of the things you're investing in is run by someone, ideally, who is focusing on that thing and trying to make it grow, who is concentrating on that thing. Um, by diversifying, you also insulate yourself from the risk of industry wide problems, whether it's shortages of things like RAM or natural disasters or just overall market conditions that hurt some industries more than others. Like COVID was an example of something that boosted some industries and hurt other industries. But generally speaking, yeah, it makes sense to diversify your investments, but with your skill acquisition and knowledge acquisition, concentrate your efforts one at a time. And then once you master an area, you can move on to to an adjacent area and then connect the two and slowly build up your knowledge that way. And you'll reach like exponential levels of growth. With investing as well, when it's diversified, you will eventually begin to exponentially grow as well, simply because, it starts compounding on itself.